The reality is that when you get to things like eggs are equivalent of 5 cigarettes, and look, the study that you're alluding to with atherosclerosis, I will acknowledge, okay, you read that study and you're not eating eggs. You read another study, you're eating eggs. And then what happens is, getting back to the people I care about, viewers of our show, they're like, well, shoot, you told me last week I can't eat eggs, then I read this new article. And it's easy to sit here and say, well, this one's industry funded, this one isn't. But the one thing that I will say is a lot of us agree on the message.
100%.
But Virginia Messina, who is a vegan dietitian who spends her life, says, I appreciate that What the Health encourages people to move toward a more plant-based diet as a responsible dietary choice. But I'm a fan of building our case for veganism on a foundation of solid facts and established research. Embracing hyperbole, misleading observations, and conspiracy theories can only undermine the credibility of vegan educators and advocates over the long run.
May I interject? Dr. Davis and I were just at the Plantrition Project in Anaheim just 3 days ago, where I presented the data on exactly what fat is in the bloodstream. And he knows the data as well as I do. We have been basically cowed, pun intended, into thinking that dietary saturated fat is the cause of the fat that lines our arteries and ultimately leads to what we call insulin resistance. That could not be further from the truth. There are fats in the blood that do this. They come from triglyceride, and the triglyceride is what you measure in the blood that is made from conversion of sugar to fat in the liver. We have the data. We've done it ourselves. In fact, it was the lead article of the journal Gastroenterology just this month. If you can put the graphic up, I'd appreciate it. We have shown that if you take sugar out of kids' diets and replace it with starch, and we did not let them lose weight. They maintained their weight over a 10-day period. Every aspect of their metabolic health changed. Their insulin resistance went away. The atherogenic particle called small dense LDL disappeared. Their triglycerides were cut by 46%. Their diastolic blood pressure went down by 5 points. Their fasting blood glucose went down by 5 points. Their insulin area under the curve went down 33%. And most importantly, while their subcutaneous or big butt fat stayed the same, their visceral fat or big belly fat, which is known to lead to metabolic syndrome, went down 7%. And most importantly, their liver fat, their big liver fat, went down 22%. And all of the changes I just mentioned correlated with the change in the liver fat. The liver fat is being caused by the conversion of sugar to fat in the liver. We measured that. It was cut in half just by taking sugar out of kids' diets. We have causation. This isn't correlation, Dr. Davis. All of your studies that you have mentioned are all correlative, not causative.
No,
this is causation. You said in the movie that sugar does not cause diabetes. It is an out-and-out falsehood.
Hey, can I ask you something, Dr. Lustig? How did your control group do in that study?
The control group was the patients themselves.
You didn't have a control group.
That's right, because you couldn't have a control group.
Listen, how did you get how many calories you're going to feed the children?
We used a specific equation called the Harris-Benedict equation, and then increased that by 10%.
So you asked the kids what they ate, and you gave them the same amount of calories they told you they ate, which was actually a calorie deficit diet.
It was not a calorie deficit diet because they maintained their weight. How many calories did you feed them? 1,600 calories, right?
We
fed them 2,400 calories per day.
You fed them 1,600 calories in your paper.
This is a perfect
For 2,400 calories.
You fed them 1,600 calories.
We did not. We did not. We have the data.
This is absolutely academic.
You don't have the data. We have the data.
I've got the data.